We are running down on time. I know there's a question over here.
Okay. I'll keep it short. Quick question from the media side of things. When you're in the middle of a deal situation, there's often a lot of sort of panic back and forth. People are saying, what should we say to the journalists? You're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't with certain pieces of information. What do you wish communicators knew about how you're working and what you're doing at your desk and why you're asking the questions you are?
I think my greatest wish with communicators is there are two kinds of communicators: those who know what's going on and those who don't. To put them in broad buckets, and and they know who they are, right? This is coming out all wrong. But what I mean to say is,
all right.
But some companies choose a media strategy where they don't tell their communications envoys very much at all. And so the communications person is stuck in an uncomfortable position. And so I think, from a company's point of view, you need to either make a choice that we're going to tell this communications person and let them be our proxy and actually empower them and give them stuff that they're going to need to know. Or they need to say, if we're going to have that strategy where we're going to have someone who's the face of the company but actually doesn't really know much, then we have to trust that person to connect us to the reporter and then get out of the way. Because I think that middle strategy where you have a communicator who doesn't know much and can't connect you to the people is, in a hurry, is very problematic. So my greatest wish is that communicators know which bucket they fall in, and if you happen to be in one of those situations, and I feel for you, where the company isn't telling you very much, connect the journalist to the right person at the company and then step back. And know that the company's made that choice. So,
Chuck, let me flip that question around and say, what do you wish reporters knew about what companies were doing?
I think, with all due respect to your grand profession, it's
trade.
It's
not a profession.
It's very often about picking winners and losers over the short term. In this particular news cycle, who's up, who's down, who's the winner, who's the loser on this day. And it's easy for a company to get caught up in that. They see a bad article one day and they put all their resources, energy at trying to reverse that. But it's a sideshow. It's not core to whether we're going to win this deal, whether we're going to win this battle, but we can't stand to be a loser for one particular day. And so we try to counsel people, don't get caught up in winning the news cycle of the day, but keep in mind what your long-term objective here is. I understand, as you mentioned, having archetypes, having good guys and bad guys makes for good copy, and that's just the world that we live in. But I wish we weren't picking winners and losers every day.
I agree.
Any final questions? Just before I turn things over to John Crean to wrap things up, we would like to finish on time today. One final question for each of you, just to throw out in terms of future looking. Is there a role for regulators in reputation? Are regulators playing a greater role in terms of trying to shape that? Does the OSC, the SEC, any government or regulatory issue play a part in reputation?
I think it's very unlikely you're going to get a regulator to play an active role in changing your reputation. I think whether you've got a good history with your regulator, whether you've got violations, whether you settle things quickly, how you interact with your regulator is part of the reputation. But I'd be interested in if anyone disagrees. I think it's unlikely that regulators are going to be willing to play a more active role in management of the reputation.
So Dodd-Frank won't improve the reputation of the financial services industry?
Were that it could.
I would tend to agree that the regulators have a broad swath ability to improve the reputation of your capital markets in your country. But in terms of helping, anything that they do, helping individual companies, I can't see that.
So regulators don't run award shows. So this, sometimes they have positive things to say about people's disclosure, but the public things that regulators do are almost always reputation damaging. So that's where, when you're engaging with a regulator and there is a sense they're going public, it is likely not to give you an award. So that's where the communications and the understanding what the impact that stakeholder's reaction to what you're doing is going to have on your other stakeholders going to become important.
Great. Thank you very much. John, can I ask you to come up and conclude?
Well, thank you, Peter. My job is to adjourn this meeting. So I want to start by thanking all of you for coming out this morning so early on a fall day. It's been a great turnout and a great conversation. I want to thank Andrew for chairing this meeting, and of course Peter for being a great facilitator. Of course, I want to thank Chuck and Carol and Boyd for their insights and ideas. A very interesting conversation, which I feel like we just touched the sort of the surface of. I'm sure we could talk all day. I have a brief announcement today, very exciting day for our firm, National. Today, we've been named the Canadian member of the AMO Global Network of the world's top financial communications firms. AMO is 11 firms around the world with 44 offices in 22 countries. Really represents the best-in-class financial communication services around the world. For companies involved in cross-border transactions or M&A in general, the network provides market intelligence, political intelligence, regulatory insights, and communications counsel around M&A, cross-border deals. In fact, so far this year, I think AMO, Chuck, correct me if I'm wrong, has done something like 93 cross-border deals representing a value of over $125 billion. So we're very excited to be part of this, to work with you in this room, certainly to work with some of your clients, to work with Chuck and his firm at Abernathy, which is actually the founding member of AMO, and others around the world. Thank you again for coming out today. Thank you for being part of the conversation, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great day.
Congratulations. That's terrific. That's great.